How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Out of the Groove. I am joined by one of the first guests on the show. It's been a while since I've gotten to talk to you, Spencer, but I'm joined by Spencer Boyd, NASCAR Camping World Truck Series driver. Also made some Xfinity starts this year. Spencer, thanks for being back on the show. How's it going?
Yeah, man. Happy to be back. It's been fun. It's been a crazy year so far.
Yeah, definitely more, it's starting to trend more towards that normalcy from pre-2020, but it's been wild as far as storylines on the track. The Truck Series playoffs just kicked off at Gateway a couple weeks ago. You were in that race. You finished a very solid 16th, actually, so a pretty good run for your team. So to start with, how has your season gone so far? Because we haven't caught up in a while. I know you're running most of the Truck Series races. You've run a couple Xfinity races as well. So how would you kind of recap your season to this point?
Yeah, it's like you said, getting back to normal a little bit. Our team, we've had ups and downs for sure. You know, it's one of those smaller team struggles at times, but no practice, no qualifying. It's kind of tough, but we've been making strides, getting things better. We've made some personnel changes on the 20 team, so that's always a positive thing. My crew chief, Joe Lax, and I have been together a little while now, so just getting everyone on the same page, bringing better trucks to the racetrack and racing and finishing 16th in my hometown was pretty special. It was cool to have Hans Wyman on board, the local St. Louis company. So all in all, season is going in the right direction. And you mentioned a couple of Xfinity races. I have some races with Mario Gosselin with Mini Doge cryptocurrency on there. And I've made some races here like last week at Daytona with Jimmy Means. So just jumping into anything that I can drive.
That's awesome. So the Camping World Truck Series has featured no shortage of drama and action this year, as it's known to do. But I want to ask you, as our kind of resident Truck Series, eyes and ears on the ground a little bit, if you were giving like a state of the Truck Series address right now, like what do you think the Camping World Truck Series is doing well this season? And perhaps are there any areas that you feel like they've maybe lacked this season?
Man, this year, I've been in the Truck Series 3 years now. I've been in NASCAR 6 years, and I'd say NASCAR in general, this is the most competitive that I've seen the sport so far. There's so many new teams bouncing around. There's so many new teams forming for next year. Right now, there are a lot of teams with money right now. So super competitive, a lot of really good trucks. When you look at, big names like Matt Crafton, 2-time, 3-time champion, he's running 20th some weeks. So It just shows you, myself, like a good day right now is finishing 15th, 16th. And a couple years ago, a good day was finishing 10th or 11th. So it's really stout right now, all the way through the Xfinity and Cup Series. Look at how many Cup winners there's been. But as for the Truck Series, looking forward to, hopefully qualifying and practice coming back next year. I think that'll help a guy like myself out quite a bit, just get us more prepared for the race instead of just showing up and going green flag and starting in the mid-30s is tough. No comp caution. That'd be nice to have every now and then, especially when there's a different tire. But just fortunate to be out on the racetrack every week. I gotta take that. I don't want to take it for granted. And then these Xfinity races, honestly, beginning of the year, I thought, man, Xfinity looks kind of easy right now. And then it's gotten more competitive throughout the year. Bigger teams coming in. You're looking at, Harvick and Briscoe jumping in, running races. It's wild.
Absolutely. And you talked about how competitive Xfinity has become, but trucks, especially the last couple of years, you mentioned it. There seems like there's 15, 20 trucks that can go out and win on any weekly basis. And we've seen a lot of young drivers as well begin to shine in the Truck Series as well. I want to ask you, as someone who's in the garage area regularly, what are the kind of relationships you see between many of these Truck Series stars? Like in the Cup Series, we see guys like Blaney and Bubba hanging out. Everyone seems to be kind of friends that have little friend pockets and groups. But in the Truck Series, from a fan watching it on TV at home, it feels like everyone's kind of in it for themselves a little bit. But, sure, there are teammates, but what is your reaction? Do you feel like everyone's kind of buddy-buddy in the trucks, or is it as ruthless as it looks on TV?
Yeah, it's trucks is really competitive. It's definitely ruthless. I have friends, it's nice that those guys that are winning every week, they're going to talk to guys like me and we're going to hang out and try and help each other. But at the end of the day, we're all scratching and clawing, trying to, become a Sunday racer. So you got to be in it for yourself. You got to be hungry. You got young kids making mistakes. You got restarts that are just straight up crazy. Darlington coming up this weekend. It's going to be wild. A track like that where you race during the day, it's going to be hot and slick and no practice, no qualifying. You got kids making their debuts. In trucks, you got to be in it for yourself. I have some great teammates, Chris Wright, Tate Fogelman. We've grown together this year. Tate and I have been together 2 years now as teammates, and Chris Wright's new to the Truck Series. So we lean on each other. But Chris and I, we raced each other side by side for 20 laps at Gateway last weekend. And afterwards, he was headed to the plane, and he's like, man, you didn't give me room here. You didn't give me room there. And I'm like, dude, I really don't care, man. I'll buy you a beer. But at the end of the day, I was going to beat you.
There you go. They teammates, friends, still rivals on the track. Yeah, that's definitely what it's looked like in trucks this year. I think that's part of why trucks have been so entertaining. Like, there's been a lot of talk among fans in the sport about like racing etiquette, and you kind of hit on it a little bit there. Like, trucks are supposed to be rough and tough, but do you feel like there have been points this year where maybe drivers have stepped over a line that you didn't notice them crossing a couple of years ago?
I mean, I think the playoffs are so important, and sponsorship is so important. So, if you're a guy running 20th and you can go get a top 10 or these super speedways and different races where you might be able to click off a win, guys are racing super aggressive. I think like from the drop of the green flag at the beginning of the season, Daytona was a wreck fest. There was a bunch going on. Everyone is trying to make the most of what they got. So I would say there's people overstepping the boundaries. A couple of the front runners got into me at Bristol Dirt, and at Watkins Glen, I turned them back. So at the end of the day, you remember everything. You're definitely an elephant when you're a race car driver because you race the same people week in and week out, and you don't purposely want to get them back, but it's like, hey, here's my opportunity to, jump a restart or on somebody.
So I want to talk about Darlington this weekend. You guys have already raced at Darlington earlier this year. It's pretty cool to see the Truck Series back at Darlington. How cool is that for you? Like, do you enjoy racing at Darlington? It seems like it's one of the most challenging ovals anywhere.
It is. The track is so unique. Bad, fast track. I mean, turn 1 and 2 are totally different than 3 and 4. So it's hard to get your truck handling on both ends of the racetrack. Turn 1 is just flat out fast. It feels like you're going to mow the wall down every lap. In trucks, I've been there in Xfinity and truck. I love the truck race. First time back for trucks in a long time was last year. Now we're going back this year. Second time this year. So excited. This time it's going to be a day race. So hot and slick. People are going to make mistakes. It gets so loose off turn 2. So I'm sure you'll see some stuff happen. Hopefully it's not me. And we'll have a good day. But we got a really cool paint scheme this week. Dano Seasoning Spicy Truck is back in action. So looking forward to getting Dan and some big TikTokers out to the racetrack.
That's awesome. I saw it. What part of the track did they repave? Was it turn 1 or turn 3? They repaved a little bit. Do you think that's going to shake things up at all? Do y'all know what to expect?
Well, no practice. So lap 1 is going to be interesting. They repaved like middle of 1 and 2. So
okay.
Middle of 1 and 2, off turn 2. It was getting really bumpy. The track was coming up, so you were almost like going below the bumps or above it. And above it, you would get really tight. Below it, you were like pinching the car and getting snappy free on exit. So this could help, or who knows how the tire is going to react. It could just make 1 and 2 that much faster.
Oh man, even faster Darlington is kind of scary, but also pretty epic. Can't wait to watch that. Now, Spencer, I know you're teaming up with Bucks for the Brave for a pretty cool event. I want to bring in Dakota Eldridge, a professional steer wrestling extraordinaire, to talk about it as well. Fans watching at home can nominate retired veterans or those who are no longer serving and retired first responders for a chance to win a trip to Texas for an epic hunting trip. You both have been on this ranch before, so what can you guys tell people about this experience? Dakota, how awesome is it?
I just encourage everybody to nominate anybody you can nominate more than one person to go on that hunt with all the veterans and first responders, to hear their stories and their sacrifices for our country. It was just as beneficial for me to realize what they do and be grateful for those men and women that serve our country and the first responders. I think they had a great time, but at the same time, I came out of it with a whole new perspective on how much we owe them.
And you're a big NASCAR fan as well, Dakota, because you've been there with Spencer as well. Talk a little bit about, have you been to a NASCAR race before, Dakota?
Well, no, I was supposed to go this spring, and I ended up had to fly back home to see the wife and the little one. But my buddy Clayton went, and he said it was unreal. That's on my bucket list here in the next year to do.
Spencer, when are you going to be able to get him out to a race? What are we looking at?
Yeah, well, I'm running the Xfinity race in Texas here later this year, and then you never know. We'll definitely get Dakota to a racetrack. I've seen him in action at the rodeo. I'm a huge rodeo fan. Steer wrestlers, man, you might just have to grab a jack and help my picture.
Yeah. Dang right. Hey, we've changed enough tires this summer. I'm getting pretty good at it on the trailer.
I saw that on Instagram. I'm like, man, Dakota's getting tuned up for his new job.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be ready.
That's amazing. Well, folks can go to groovymotorsports.com and scroll to the contest section to nominate a hero from their community. The deadline to submit is September 12th, so be sure to be quick. This sounds like an amazing experience. It's cool to see Bucks for the Brave so involved in NASCAR. They're going to be on your truck at some point this season, right, Spencer?
Yeah, so Record Rack Deerfeed puts on the event Bucks for the Brave down at Trinity Oaks and Thumbtack Ranch in Texas, taking veterans, retired first responders out. Every year we've honored those and promoted this event on my truck. We did it at Texas earlier in the spring. They're on my truck for Darlington, and we're just pushing folks to nominate their veteran. You can, like Dakota said, you can nominate more than one, all the way up to September 12th, the 20th anniversary of 9/11 is coming up. I have a really special paint scheme that I'm going to run at Bristol, so we just want to get people on board. I have been changed after going to Bucks for the Brave. It's an amazing event. Became friends with Danny Foley. He was a fireman at 9/11, and actually we lost him just last year, and I'm going to be honoring his name on the roof of my truck at the 9/11 race at Bristol.
That's amazing. Well, again, everyone, head to groovymotorsports.com to submit your nomination. Be sure to do it before September 12th. Spencer, Dakota, thank you both for being on the show today. We'll have to get you out to a racetrack very, very soon, Dakota. That's I'm sure it's a rush, wrestling.
Steers, yeah.
Steer.
Yeah, steers with horns.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, there's horns involved. That sounds, I couldn't do that. Well, it may not be that thrilling, but it's definitely thrilling to see a pack of cars go flying by.
Clayton said it was pretty. My buddy, he went with Spencer, and he said it was pretty intense down there. So, I'm going to try to get back this year, if not this year, next year.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for joining us. Spencer, good luck this weekend. We'll be watching for your truck out at Darlington.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.